animal farm. Justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence. Islamic leaders silence. Kings and queens silence. Traditional leaders silence. So who go say the truth? We are them go so confused the call. Now by area why no better. We are them go so confused the call. One guy's out here why no better. Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, you need it to see what I see so. Now your friend on a night come at them. Only papi obeka na sembia. So I want to bet you everybody was afraid. And until I learned to my cottage again, once my boy dumping one and I see. But who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien person beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Anya safwe muayini. Akukutro fonyina dalima. Enti who go say the truth? Obiaja konson so to grow Germansa to me be a cacobrafo. Efo anyina ye. Efo when you know yet. Na so kutrata down so be dia back or why no keke. I fene for be man mo pia for efo ne cross on my mo. Hanya safwe mo ayini. Akukutro for nyina dalima. And who go say the truth? Abaya di bote chino. Yedi bi bebo nyande bi. Kachi se would your mouth pipinuma. Would your mind never shine my preference? But who go tell the truth? TUC silence. Even journalists silence. So then who go say the truth? Right is right. Wrong is wrong, no matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption. Someone want to help you, now the person become your target. Jobless no they mean senseless. Poverty no they mean useless. One day them go resist.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Today Ghana News TV. If you are joining us, we are also live on Sakina Information Center in Teteli in Northern Ghana, and we are live on High FM 93.7 in Achuihima in the Eastern region, also live on the King's Radio in Accra, and on all your social media platforms as MyView Show on Today Ghana News TV. MyView Show, where every Monday evening we bring you the best socio-political discussion or discourse there is on the airwaves in all your trusted platforms. I say every Monday evening. However, last week, due to circumstances beyond our control, we were unable to bring you your favorite socio-political discussion. But as fate may have it, or as things may turn out, the discussion that we hope to bring you last week probably is much more weightier this week than it was last week. And why do I say so? I say so because of the peculiarity of the topic and the events that have happened in Ghana ever since. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the appreciation of the Ghana cedi against its major trading currencies and its consequences or the effects of that on the living standards of Ghanaians. Now, well, to the normal line of events, the Ghana cedi have always and in most circumstances depreciated against most of its major trading currencies. In fact, this seemed to be the norm. However, sometime last month, there was a sudden turn of events where the cedi not only appreciated, but appreciated very rapidly in a very short time against the US dollar, against the European euro, against the British pound, as well as other currencies. And if you are a trader in Ghana, you would know that these currencies are important. And being an a net import economy like Ghana, the trading of the currency against its major, the Ghanaian currency against its major trading partners has a very huge significance on the economy of the country. In a country where the exchange rate is a determinant of the price of goods in the country, in a country where even rent is very dependent on the exchange rate in that country, the appreciation or depreciation of the currency is thus very important. But how important is it? How important is it to the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian who go about their daily businesses every day? Will this lead to something positive in their lives? Or would it be negative? Well, there are lots of different schools of thoughts. But as we usually say on this show, we are not experts in these areas. But what we are experts at is giving you the people with the right expertise who have the knowledge, the know-how to be able to decipher things, to analyze the situations, and to be able to make us understand things as they ought to be. And today is no different. Today, we have the privilege of being joined by Mr. Bernard Odro Tichi. Mr. Odro is a chartered economist who is well versed on matters of the economy of Ghana, on the cedi, and on its trading relationship with other major trading currencies. He is also the National Youth Working Committee member of the NDC, and he's joining us this evening to help us understand this topic and its effects on the lives of Ghanaians. Mr. Odro Tichi, good evening to you.
Albert, very good evening to you and your production team and our viewers across the globe. Let me say a very good evening. Most importantly, to the presidency of Ghana, the vice president who got back to the country a couple of days ago, and to all the appointees of the government, and most importantly, to the economic management team. I wish them the very best of luck. And let me also use this opportunity to extend my greetings to the leadership of the National Democratic Congress, the political party that gave birth to the government. And at this juncture, I would love to single-handedly praise the leadership of the national chairman, the general secretary, the national women organizer, the youth organizer, for their leadership that is leading the party from strength to strength. I wish them the very best, and I pray that God grant them the spirit of unity, esprit de corps, comradeship, so that the party can shepherd the government. If the government goes wrong, the party can bring the government in line. But don't forget that it is a party that gives birth to government, not vice versa. A government doesn't give birth to a party. Rather, a party gives birth to government. So when the party architecture is strong, it becomes the foundation for the government to build on. Let me also say every rank and file member of the NDC, expectations are high on this government. That is why any little policy program project or any task handle that the government introduces seem to receive an avalanche of public commentary. That is to tell you that the expectation of Ghanaians, the views on Ghanaians on this government in comparative to previous administration is way high. The standard Ghanaians have set for the current NDC government in the Fourth Republic, that is the highest ever. Don't forget, in as much as late former President Rawlings won in 92, 96 with such a very gargantuan margin, it never happened that under His Excellency Rawlings, the NDC could win an overwhelming two-thirds majority. Even in the year 1992, where the MPP boycotted the parliamentary elections, and you could see that they won convincingly. Most of if they had contested, they would have won more than, let's say, 40% or 30% of the entire seat in the parliament. But in 2024, history was made. Ghanaians gave the NDC an emphatic victory at parliamentary, almost 183, presidential 57%. This is unprecedented. To whom much is given, much is expected. Once Ghanaians have reposed in the NDC such an avowed level of confidence, that should also tell you the expectations of Ghanaians on the government on all metrics, fighting corruption, economic stability, and on the economic stability, whether micro or macro, is very high. And no government appointee should take this for granted. To whom much is given, much is expected.
Wow, Mr. Odrotichi, it seems you've come out all guns blazing and firing from all cylinders, and that is really good. And we, as promised, this promises to be, you know, a very exciting and engaging show. Now, you talked about the performance of the party in the elections. And since coming into government, or since taking over governance, the party seemed to have enjoyed a lot of goodwill among, you know, the Ghanaian populace. And the party seemed to be paying back that goodwill quite well to the Ghanaian populace. Like I said, in terms of the economy, we are seeing something that has, I doubt whether that has happened in the Fourth Republic, whereby in a very short time, within a matter of a few weeks, the currency has appreciated more than 20% against its foreign, you know, currencies. Now, lots of people would say that it's too early for the party to take credit for this, because in 2017, when the economy seemed to be doing well, the NDC party that had lost power in 2016 said that it was as a result of the solid foundation that the party led under the IMF that was responsible for the subsequent economic stability in 2017. Is that not the same situation that we have today, whereby because of the solid foundation left behind by the MPP, the government seemed to be benefiting from it? Because really, 5 months is not enough time for any government to be able to lay a foundation to have such outcomes.
Well, if there is any foundation the MPP left, the scorecard was what happened on 7 December 2024. And let no one kid the MPP. They did not leave any commendable legacy. No. If the MPP had left a commendable legacy, it would have reflected in the vote of Ghanaians. Look, the easiest way to measure the legacy of a certain government is the outcome of their performance in government, in an election. If you want to measure how a government has performed, don't look far, don't look near, look within. When I hear some of the apparatchik communicators of the MPP throwing tantrums that the economic fortunes, the economic trajectory, the affirmative indicators we are seeing are taking it precedence from them. They got it wrong. And I'll tell you why. There is something we call financial scorecard. And financial scorecard at the individual level has to do with your balance sheet. So when you take every organization financial statement, it is made up of about 4 forms. With the balance sheet, the income statement, cash flow statement, and the explanatory note to be added. So when you read the explanatory note, it gives you an indication of the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, and whatever statement thereof in the balance, the financial statement of an organization. In similar vein, when it comes to a country, if you want to assess the financial standing of a country, you go straight to look at the macroeconomic indicators. And when you are then review the macroeconomic indicators, you can come down to the microeconomic indicators. What indicator did the MPP leave? Take inflation, take exchange rates, take balance of trade, take international reserve, take unemployment rates. If you do an aggregate of all the macroeconomic indicators, they were nose diving. So the MPP and the Taparachi cannot, must not, should not try to arrogate to themselves legacy they did not leave. The legacy the MPP left is found in the books of the International Monetary Fund, not from me. First in history, since 1992, and as an economist, I will not bastardize IMF. IMF is not a bad organization. It was rather the MPP that made people to believe that any government that rises to IMF is an incompetent government. I choose to disagree. And as an economist, there is something we call allocative inefficiency. Allocative inefficiency simply means that you can put together all the factors of production towards expecting good result. The market can still fail. But the MPP, in their quest for power in 2016, made everybody to believe that any government that jumps to the IMF for a bailout is a failed government. I don't think so. I don't think so because all member countries of the International Monetary Fund are bound to resort to the IMF for an assistance of a sort. And in any case, several triggers can give birth to a country going to the IMF. It can be lots of public trust in the government, liquidity support, and a host of other factors that can lead the government to the IMF. So, as an economist, I will not jump onto the fray and behave like the MPP and begin to bastardize and say that going to the IMF is bad. However, when 2 sick people go to the hospital, the level of description and prescription they get from the medical doctor determine their degree and the seriousness of their sickness. I repeat, when 2 sick people go to a medical doctor, physician, the prescription, diagnosis, and the antidote the medical practitioner wants to give to the 2 people will determine the seriousness of the sickness of those people. So, for example, if I go to Kwalebu Teaching Hospital with my ailment, and I'm giving paracetamol, however, somebody or medical person is admitted an intense unit, oxygen, in between the 2 sick people. Which one is more precarious?
Well, I mean, it would be the person in the IC.
Fantastic. So let me come back to Ghanaians and your viewers, comparing all the previous IMF the previous government have gone to, just supposing in pari passu with that of the MPP. In the MPP 18th IMF entry, we had a domestic debt exchange, external debt exchange program. That should tell you that if indeed the era of Rawlings, Atanos, and even the first tenure of His Excellency Mahama came with IMF, never did we ever recognize a situation whereby pensioners' funds were affected. No. Never did we ever hear of domestic debt exchange. No. Never did we ever come face to face with external debt exchange. It never happened. So the era of the MPP, IMF, and bailout brought to forth a very precarious situation, a very concomitant situation, and the net negative effect is that it led the economy into a junk status, simplicity. So when the MPP wants to take credit of the progressively affirmative macroeconomic indicators, they should stay off and give us a breathing space.
Well, we will try to give you the avenue on this platform to probably explain to us what have led to maybe the performance of the CD in particular. But before we get to that particular situation or junta, can you carry us along? Let us understand from now. Put back your economic hat and try to let us understand when we say that the currency of a country is appreciating against other currencies. What are we talking about? What does that mean?
Now, whilst I'm putting up my economic hats, I will also put on my economic hat as well. And we are going to have a very professional discourse, not partisan one, because we want to use this bigger platform to educate the people.
Yes.
Wherever my party and my government goes wrong, I will not be a coward to say it, but I'll say it in a more civil way. Sure. So I want to make it clear on your platform. I'm not here to bootlick anybody, no. You invited me here beyond as a National Working Committee member, but as a professional. So sure. At any material moment, I will not throw my professionalism to the doors. Sure. I will not exchange my professionalism for any patents. I'm bound by code of ethics. And the code of ethics as an economist expect of me to be truthful to the data as I see it.
Sure.
You first ask an initial question that what has really resulted within the last more than 6 months, the positive indicator that we are seeing. Is it a rocket science? Is it a miracle? Is it a magic? The answer is none of the above. The answer is simply common sense.
Good. Before we go to the factors that that's resulting in the appreciation of the currency.
I'll come to the currency stability.
Yes. So let's start from somewhere.
I'm driving you. It's like I'm driving you from Kumasi to Accra. I can't jump all the way from Nkoko to Amasamai. I need to travel along the road.
Good.
So the MTTD will have a work to do.
Oh no, NTD is not invited in this discussion.
So let's travel along the road from Kumasi to Accra.
Good.
There is something we call ratio decidendi, and it simply means why did we arrive at where we are? Ratio decidendi. What reason occasioned our arrival at this premises? And the reasons cut across. But the first of the reason is that in 2024, Ghanaians were tired of the MPP government. That's factor number one. So even if the MPP had even won, if the MPP had broken the eights as their mantra was, we wouldn't have enjoyed the indicators as they are today. Because Ghanaians in their mind were not happy with the government. So Ghanaians would have transferred that misconception against the outgone MPP government to the new MPP government. However, the change in government brought a certain wind of euphoria. So what we are seeing within the first 6 months of the NDC government today is simply that Ghanaians were willing for change and the change came. So the NDC government today is riding at the back of a certain clarion call for change that they got. If the NDC government after 1 year begin to deviate, digress, or they become a standard deviation of the expectation Ghanaians had for the NDC, you will see the economic indicators nosediving. So Ghanaians have given the NDC a moratorium of less than 12 months, and they are living to see what the NDC government will lead the nation out to. However, within the first 6 months of the NDC government, Ghanaians have witnessed that the government is a listening one. Ghanaians have witnessed that the NDC government wants to run a lean government. And I'll tell you one thing, Albert, when your child is spoiled, you don't pamper that child, you discipline that child.
Okay.
If you have a child and that child is so indisciplined, so vagabond, so difficult, a responsible parenting must not seek to pamper that child. A responsible parenting must be able to instill discipline in that child for him to be on track. How did the NDC government, ensuring that discipline in governance? Number one, a lot of Ghanaians complain about the elephant size of the previous MPP government. Many people raised their voice. Civil society organization, traditional leadership, youth group, political activists, social activists, international experts. These people told the government in the face that you are running a balloon-sized government that is not needed. Look, take the population of China, take the population of India, take the population of Japan, take the population of UK, take the population of US, vis-a-vis their state ministers compared to that of Ghana under the previous MPP government. How on earth can any government with a country of less than 35 million population, you run a government with almost 123 ministers? It was unthinkable. Ghanaians raised their voice. Guess what the NDC government has done? The NDC government comes to being, and as we speak today, the government is being run on 56 ministers. So, clear-cutly, when you look at the variation of the two, every right-thinking investor, every right-thinking Ghanaian, whether home or abroad, when he compares the two governments, the conclusion will be that the current NDC government, as opposed to the SLMPP government, economically is running a lean government of austerity. That did not happen under the past government. Now, let me come back home. As an economist, taxation is not bad. Taxation is not bad. And there are two things as a human being you cannot escape. Two things you cannot escape. Once you're a human being, you have to pay tax. And once you were created by God, you die. So death and taxation are inevitable. So long as you are a being created by God, you die. So long as you are a being under a government, you pay taxes. The bone of contention is not about taxation, but the bone of contention rests on two triggers. Number one, what kind of taxes are you imposing on the people? Is it a regressive tax, progressive tax, or proportional tax? In a country like Ghana, a government must seek to introduce more progressive and proportional taxes than regressive taxes. Under the former MPP government, they took delight in introducing regressive taxes. And what's a regressive tax? A regressive tax simply is an at-to-bottom tax. It is a tax that impoverishes the poor, but some way, somehow, it does not make much impact onto the rich. Let me give you a clear-cut example. When you take the SYE levy, which was placed on Momo transaction, let me take, for example, somebody like Despite, Parkwasi Indum, myself granting this interview. If I'm sending 2,000 Ghana cedi to somebody in my village, and I'm supposed to pay a Momo tax of, let's say, 30 Ghana cedi, it is nothing to me because I have the means to afford it. Despite has the means to afford it. Parkwasi Indum will have the means to afford it. Ministers can have the means to afford it. However, Albert, If the same 2,000 Ghana cedis being sent by an old lady in my village to his son or daughter in the university, and that old lady is supposed to pay tax back and forth, 60 Ghana cedi, because when the charge is withdrawn, it will come with a tax. That tax become regressive and a punishment onto that poor lady. So some of us from the economic background told the MPP that, looking at the nature of the yield levy, it is very regressive in nature. It is punishing the poor and rewarding the rich. So go the way of the Uganda format. The MPP government say, we will slap the tax onto the people. Guess what? When Ghanaians went into the pool in 2024, Ghanaians said that we don't want any at-to-bottom kind of taxation. Then the NDC government came to being, and in less than 4 months, scrapped this obnoxious yield levy regressive tax. So in that case, the old ladies in Ghana, the poor people in Ghana, who were complaining bitterly, the trade association, the business people, the commercial people in the country, who were bitter and angry about yield levy, when they saw the NDC government scrapping the yield levy, it became, a listening government has arrived. So you realize that when you put together the multiplicity of all these splinter factors, it has brought a certain level of public confidence in the people towards the government. So it is not a rocket science, neither is it a miracle that we are seeing the indicators in the positive. It is not surprising that the exchange rate relative to the currency of Ghana cedi, relative to the dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro, is gaining stability and the strength because the government we have today, I am not saying that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama government is an angelic government. I am not saying it's a perfect government. But when you put the government on the table in pari passu with the outgoing administration, you realize that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has come for a singular reason, an image redemption therapy. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has come with an overdose of experience. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has come at the background that Ghanaians punished him very well in 2016. And for that matter, he wants to leave a legacy for the NDC in 2028, 2022, 2040, 2036. So you see, when the MPP want to make a case, tell them that they were not a listening government. Today, today, when expert opinions raise their voice against the government, let me tell you, I am not here to whitewash the government, but I'm telling you as it is. The NDC government today, under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, under the finance minister, are more listening. However, there was one thing that particularly personally I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy about the way and manner the fuel levy was introduced. The fuel levy is a progressive tax. However, the way and manner the finance minister went about it, personally from stakeholder engagement, he got it wrong. I believe that government must be for the people and for the people. So whatever concerns the people, whatever will affect the economic fortunes of the people, whatever will affect the personal and the corporate budget of the people, whatever will affect the national budget of the people, don't take it as a personal decision. The finance minister should have created more avenue, should have created more room to engage stakeholders, civil society, the media, commercial partners, whatever it is, to seek their independent view about the introduction of the fuel levy. Because when you compare the fuel levy to the yield levy is a regressive tax, the fuel levy is a progressive tax. Regardless of its progressiveness, you still owe the people the duty of care to engage the citizenry to seek their view in your attempt to introduce a tax handle. That notwithstanding, so far so good, the government is on course.
Well, Mr. Odotich, you see, your concerns about the way and manner in which the fuel, this tax was placed on fuel, seem to be the justification that some people give when they say that if you look at the appreciation of the cedi against its major trading currencies, that it was not because the finance minister or the Bank of Government or Bank of Ghana or somebody did something special, that it was just as a result of the trade war that's taking place between US and most other countries in the world, and that left to the government alone, nothing would have happened. So that the government is not abreast or does not have the depth to have been able to do what the things that it takes to result in the appreciation of the cedi, and they use the the introduction of the tax on fuel to justify that as a a sign of probably maybe ineptitude and incompetence on the part of the government. What say you?
Let me analyze two financial policies of the MPP and the NDC, and I'll leave your viewers and your audience to make their independent judgment. The MPP government brought to bear gold for oil policy. The gold for oil was simply to ensure stability in our oil prices in the Ghanaian market. I can tell you for a fact, from the very day the MPP government introduced the gold for oil, Ghanaians never experienced any consistent fuel price reduction or stability. So the idea and the argument that the gold for oil program or policy was to ensure currency stability and stability in the oil and gas prices was nil. Number two, the NDC government comes to be and established gold board. The gold board simply is the policy direction opposite version of gold for oil. In less than 5 months, the gold for oil is bringing in more dollars than we saw under the MPP. In that situation, if as an economist, I'm supposed to make a choice between gold for oil program and the gold board as a policy, as an economist and from commonsensical approach, I'll go for the gold board, because the gold board is raking in dollars every month, every quarter. On the other hand, the gold for oil, if you look at the Bank of Ghana financial statement that were published last week, is an eyesore. The gold for oil, in my view, became some kind of a clandestine avenue for people to steal from the state. We've not had a full length of the 4 years to assess the impact of the gold board. But for what you have known within a couple of few months, you can testify from the fact that the establishment of the gold board, number one, is trying to sanitize gold trading in Ghana. Number two, is trying to make sure that whatever ounce of gold that leave the shores of Ghana, we can have a track of it. And when the country can have traceability on whatever gold that is being sold, you can be rest assured that dollar will never be in shortage. So when the MPP begin to tell you that the NDC must not take credit because of trade war between the US and the China and whatever it is, tell them it's a big no. Because Ghana is not the only country within the Committee of Nations. Why is Nigeria not enjoying the same thing? Why not Burkina Faso? Why not Rwanda? But why is it that within a short time, the Ghanaian currency is experiencing some goodwill? Because the establishment of the gold board alone is an advantageous situation compared to the MPP. And I want to challenge the MPP. They should give us one occasion whereby the gold for oil program or policy led to currency stability, led to oil price reduction or stability. None. We were in this country. At the pump station, a liter of oil was being bought around 17 cedi at a time. It even at a point it then rose to 20 Ghana cedi. Okay? In that situation, we still used to have gold for oil program. I will hastily add that at the international global market, Ghana does not determine the price of crude oil. So a fluctuation in crude oil prices can have a cascading effect on your local economy. But that notwithstanding, there were times under the MPP that fuel prices were plummeting, but Ghanaians did not experience the real impact of that plummeted price. However, under the current government, because of policies of austerity, Good example, a lean government. Good example, if you go to a finance ministry today, they are putting in place measures to ensure that procurement are done on grounds of meritocracy and due diligence process. Number 3, the establishment of the gold board is top of it all. Number 4, the way a manner Ghanaians born are being paid on time is even given to a rebound of confidence of the people. I agree with you. When the MPP made the argument that the trade war between US and China is leading to the positive indicators, tell them BOT said it's a big lie. As we speak today, the Ukraine-Russia war has not halted. The MPP made the excuse of Ukraine-Russia war. Anytime the economy was cascading, anytime the indicators were poor, and you rise up to talk, they will tell you Ukraine-Russia war. Just 2 days ago, there was a huge bomb blast against Russia. Why don't the MPP therefore say that the economy is also doing because still in presence of the war? It's about a listening government, a lean government, austerity measures, and a certain president who has an overdose of experience and ready to walk his talk. Simplicity.
Well, well said, Mr. Bernard. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to take some messages from our viewers and listeners. Then we go to the next phase of the conversation, where we'll look at the impact of the appreciation of the cedi on the lives of Ghanaians, be it negative or positive. So if you are listening to us or watching us, go nowhere. We'll take a short break and we'll return shortly. Stay with us.
Don't miss a beat, stay tuned tight. The best of the best, shining bright. Tune in now, it's not a game. Today Ghana News, it's your clan. Tie with Francis, a unique delight. Don't miss the magic, shining bright. Tune in and see the best of the best. Today Ghana News, you'll be impressed. And every week, a new adventure. Francis Jalil, we're ready. From the beach to the dance floor. Don't miss a beat, stay.
Hello, welcome back to MyView Show here live on Today Ghana News TV. If you are joining us, this is MyView Show, where today we are being joined by Mr. Odro, who is taking us through the appreciation of the Ghana cedi against its major trading currencies. And for the first part of the show, we have been taking a look at the factors that have brought about this sharp appreciation of the currency against its major trading partners. Now, for the next half of the show, we are going to be concentrating mostly on the effects of this on the life of the average Ghanaian. So if you are with us, if you are watching us from Sakina Information Center in Tatali, this is MyView Show. We're also live on the King's Radio, also live on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Instagram and all other social media platforms. We are going to take some comments from our viewers, and then we return to continue with Mr. Odru. Okay. Mavis Boateng, you see, Ghana is working again under the NDC and President John Mahama. God bless Ghana. We are watching from Lisbon in Portugal. NDC Diaspora Union, you see, the truth well being said. Both is always on point. NDC is blessed with knowledgeable people, and Boot is one of them. You are sending greetings from Amsterdam in Holland. Thank you very much. Asempa Heneboachi, you see you are watching and listening from Achwin Himai. I can see the next Communications Officer of NDC, Mr. Boot. Thank you very much, Asempahene Boachi, for your comment. Frempong Bafi. Frempong, you say a powerful submission from our next communications officer, and you are watching from Akusi near Somenya. Thank you very much, Frempong, for doing the watching. Sikapat family, you say the MPP is really a confused political party, and you are watching from Jumapo near Kuforidua. Thank you very much. Lady Mal _2, you say good evening, Albert and your team. I really enjoy the submission of both because he makes economics very simple for us all to understand. And you are watching on Twitch from St. Petersburg in Russia. And then we have Kwesi Nsia. Kwesi, you say good evening. Please kindly ask him, is it real the gold reserve that is accounting for the stability of the city? And you are watching from Anglo Town in Koforidua. Thank you very much, Kwesi. Jaframa TV, you say good evening and greetings from Rara in the OT region. Please ask both what is his end of year projection of the city. We'll do that, Jaframa TV. Nana Tafimu, you say greetings from Tatali, Northern Ghana and Sakina Information Center listeners. The government has lost grip of communication in defending the Dunso levy. What is the NDC communication team doing? Thank you very much, Nana Tafimu, for your comment. Robert Kimpi. Robert, you say, wow, boot on fire. The next NDC communications officer is extraordinary, or officer extraordinaire. You are watching from Paris in France. Kweku Ivo. Kweku, you say you are watching from Suhum in the eastern region. Boot is simply being truthful. Thank you very much, Kweku Ivo. Patience Dako. Patience, you say good evening. Good evening to you as well. You are watching from Hamburg, Germany. Good show, Albert. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Patience, for doing the watching. Serenity Makati, you say, Boot, where have you been? You are watching him live, so he's around, I guess. Ghana Himfi, you see, you are watching from Bususu in Frontier South District. Boot always on fire. NDC have the men. Thank you very much, Ghana Himfi, for doing the watching and the listening. And so if you are joining us, this is MyView Show. And this evening, we are taking a look at the Ghana city, its appreciation against the dollar and the pound and the euro. And for the first half of the show, we have been taking a look at the factors that have led to the stability. Now we are going to go to the next phase of the show, where we would be taking a look at the effects of that on the life of Ghanaians. So we welcome back our guest, who is going to take us through the next phase of the show. Boots. Our listeners seem to be enjoying your delivery, and they say it seems some of them are prophets. They are looking into the future, and they can see the next.
But their prophecy may fail. Okay, so there were some questions thrown at me. Can I respond to them then?
Yes.
The next chapter.
Yes, take a look at it.
Okay, so the first question has to do with the gold reserve and whether the gold reserve is contributing positively towards the currency stability. The answer is yes and no. And let me explain to you. Economically, the language of success in every currency stability is what you call cash flow.
Okay.
For example, if you have two parents, each of them, they have deposit of gold. One of them decide to sit on his gold. One of them decide to convert the gold into liquid and use that gold to take care of his children in school. In between these two parents, which one is better?
Well, I guess any responsible parent will be the one who is taking care of the children in school.
So let me tell Ghanaians how responsible the NDC government is. The NDC government is responding to the plight of Ghanaians. So while the NDC government is keeping a good quantity of reserve to shore up our reserve, the NDC government on the same breath is liquidating a good portion of the reserve to bring in the currency. So it is running a two-way affair. I'm building reserve, but I'm also encouraging liquidity, because you need the liquidity of the dollar in order not to create shortage. Don't forget that the issue of currency stability, appreciation, instability is about demand and supply.
Okay.
The more dollars you have, the cheaper it will be, and the less the shortage you experience. Simple economic trajectory. Once you sell your gold and bring in the dollar, it will make dollar readily available. And in economics, anything that is not in shortage is not expensive. That is why, Albert, when you have a bottle of Coke and a bottle of water, the bottle of Coke is expensive than a bottle of water because a bottle of Coke is in shortage, but a bottle of water is not. In similar vein, when the government can liquidate a reserve of the gold to bring in the dollar, when the dollar becomes readily available, it will not make the dollar expensive relative to your currency. So the NDC government knows what time it is. Number two, another person asked me my projection for end of year between the cedi to the dollar. And let me be frank with Ghanaians. I think we should not go below 8 cedis. I don't support. You see, too much appreciation can also affect the export market. I repeat, when your currency becomes too strong, it makes your export very expensive. And it can also affect your export revenue in a way. But don't forget that Ghana, we sell cocoa, we sell gold, we sell timber, and we sell a host of other things that also bring in revenue. And once we sell these things to the international market, the payment is done either in dollars, in pound, or in euro. Now, the very moment your currency becomes too stronger against the major trading currency, it will also bring a shortfall in your targeted export revenue. So if I'm to make a recommendation to the government, purely from an export-driven point of view, I would say that by end of the year, we should not, whether overt, covert, organic, inorganic, whether it is intentional or unintentional, we must do what we call hedging. When we do hedging, it will also positively affect the export industry of the country. Other than that, you'll be experiencing currency stability, currency appreciation, but it will affect your export revenue. So when you take the gold, when you take the cocoa, when you take the timber, when you take the bauxite, when you take other things to the international market to sell as a government to bring in the revenue, because your currency is too strong, the revenue you're expecting will be affected. For example, cocoa farmers in Ghana who are expecting the cocoa price per whatever kg to rise by August, the expectation will not be met because the price of the metric tonnage of cocoa that they would have gotten 2024 has fallen about 20%. So, Albert, from the economic point of view, there is also an adverse effect when your currency is becoming too strong. So the government must find a way to find a balance. And if I'm supposed to give a projection, I will say that the economic management team of the country, the presidency of the country, the finance ministry, the Bank of Ghana, there should be a synergy in such a way that we should not go below 8%, 8 Ghana cedi to $1 by end of the year. Any attempt, whether overt, covert, intentional, unintentional, organic, inorganic, to push the cedi too strong will affect our export revenue. And that can also have a negative impact on our balance sheet as a country.
Well said. Because yes.
Somebody also said that the person also asked, where have I been hiding? I am not hiding.
I think that's a Serenity. Yeah. Serenity Makati.
I'm not hiding. just
to
that
know
you
where
see,
you are
we've
hiding.
all worked hard to bring the government. I have said that, look, as an economist, I will make myself available to this and many other platforms once every month so that I will focus purely on the economy. There is not the time to talk political jargons. The political jargons moment are over. At the moment, we are talking economy. So every month, anybody who wants to see where I've been hiding should come to this platform. Once you come to this platform, first Monday of every month, I will not be hiding. And the last of it all, the fuel levy is something that as a government, I think that somebody asked that question. And I think in all honesty, I will call a spade, not a big spoon. The introduction of the fuel levy, the approach by the finance ministry was totally wrong. In as much as it's a good tax handle, it's a progressive tax, it has come to solve a need. That notwithstanding, you must not take advantage of a desperate woman. And any man, I will take it from me, any man who takes advantage of a desperate woman lives to regret. If you want a woman, take your time, nurture the relationship before you propose. But when you see a woman too desperate and you take advantage out of desperation, you live to regret. Despite the fact that Ghanaians are giving us the goodwill, they are hailing us, as a government, we have to be cautious in order not to do anything that will incur the wrath of Ghanaians. Fuel levy is a good tax, it's a progressive tax, it has come to solve the doom-so need of the country. But that notwithstanding, the finance ministry failed to engage in extensive stakeholder consultation, and that is why on the street of Ghana, most of GPRTU, Drivers Union, they are raising concern not because the levy is bad, because some 5-6 months ago, people were buying a liter of fuel 17 cedi. Today, it's around 11, 10, 12 cedi. So it means that if you're able to reduce it about 6 cedi margin, and we are bringing 1 cedi just a top up, it is not a bad idea. But the way and manner we went about it, it was totally wrong.
Well, so now we are well and truly in the arena of looking at the effects of the the price of the appreciation of the cedi against its foreign currencies. Yeah, and I would like to ask the question that seemed to be on the minds of most Ghanaians. In economics, you people say that the prices of goods are flexible upwards, but they are sticky downwards. And so recently, you see the cry of most Ghanaians have been the fact that, people, for instance, the importers of goods, importers of spare parts in the past have been very quick to increase the price of their goods anytime the currency depreciates against the dollar and the euro and other currencies. But now that there's an appreciation against these currencies, those same traders seem to be reluctant to reduce the prices of goods. So is this just is this something, the appreciation of the cedi, is this something that we have to that we can celebrate, or this is something that ultimately will trickle down to the pockets of the ordinary Ghanaian?
Okay, so Albert, in economics, the fundamental rule is that all other things being equal, ceteris paribus. Every economist, whether the monetarist or whatever the theory, every economic education, everybody will tell you that the foundation of economics is that all other things being what? Equal. Albert, all other things cannot be equal. All other things cannot be equal. Even identical twins, homogeneous ones, they have certain differentiation. No matter how identical twins are, there will be certain things to vary them. So from the theoretical perspective, all other things cannot be equal. Because that is a theoretical framework, let's come to the practical. It is true that anytime your currency begins to become stronger, it must have a direct and inverse. There's an inverse relationship, direct relationship between currency appreciation and price reduction. There's an inverse relationship. Once your currency is becoming stronger, price must go down. Once your currency become not too strong, price will go up, but not in all cases. What are the exceptions? Let's assume somebody had a trade in stock. Somebody has bought some items worth 5 billion, 5 million Ghana cedi, 3 million Ghana cedi. These items were bought in November 2024, October 2024. And the price the people used in buying it was like 15, 16 cedi to $1. These items, they've not run out of shorts in their stock or in their warehouses. And in May 2025, the cedi jumps to 10 cedi up to the $1, meaning that the price that they use in buying the item in October 2024 is gone down almost about 40 to 50%. When you tell that trader to automatically reduce the price of his goods and services, that trader may not automatically buy. The trader may not buy because of the concept of stock in trade. Because most of the gaining economy is an import-driven economy. A lot of goods and services are imported. And some of these imports take about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to materialize. So if I bought something about 3, 4 months ago, or I bought it about 5, 6 months ago, and the exchange rate I used at that time was 15, 16 cedi to the $1, and today it is 10 cedi or 11 cedi to the $1, commonsensically, you don't automatically expect me to bid down my price. So, Ghana Trade Union Association, Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Association of Ghana Industry can issue the directive and the caveat and the order to say that all traders in Ghana, we are experiencing steady stability. Bid down your price of items, goods, and services. The trader at the market of KJTia, Kumase, Sunyane, Doma, Inkro, Techiman, Tamale, Tehuyoso will respond gradually because of the concept of stock in trade. However, from July 2025 going, most of these goods they had in their warehouses may be depleted. And they may be placing an order of an item based on the current existing exchange rate. So, Ghanaians should note it from me as an economist that from July, August 2025 going, Ghanaians are going to witness the true impact of the currency stability and the currency appreciation. But for the last 5 months, we have not witnessed the direct impact, the positive impact because of the concept of stock in trade. When their stock becomes depleted, that can be a fact. Number two, some of the traders may also don't want to reduce their prices for political reasons. Some traders are very political. Some may want to still punish the government. It's normal. Even at the global stage, it happens. Don't forget that when you go to Kantamantu today, we have MPP, we have NDC. If you go to KJTia today, we have MPP, we have NDC. There are those who jubilated when NDC came to power. So political influence can also play a role. Why Ghanaians are still not seeing the positive impact of the currency appreciation or the cedi stability. But I can assure them, from July, August, September going, the economy will take shape, will run with the currency stability, and goods and services are going to manifest. That notwithstanding, I can give you pocket of example. When you go to Tetima market, Sunyan and Nana Sonkrari market, KJTia market, a lot of goods and services today are going down because the traders themselves are witnessing that when the city is becoming stronger, it will make much more sense to sell my goods faster and buy more quicker. So it is not that bad, but it's going to be gradual towards Ghanaians seeing the real impact of the currency stability and its appreciation relative to the major trading currency, that is the dollar, the pound, and the euro.
All right, now let's begin to wind down. You are predicting that sometime between July and August, there's going to be some. We probably will start seeing the effects in the reduction.
Positive effect. The positive effect, not just for effect.
Thanks for qualifying. Positive effect.
No.
All right, good. So now, should that not also be a source of worry, especially when you are dealing with inflation? Can that not reflect in demand pull inflation, as in when the purchasing power of people is enhanced, and then we then start to have lots of money chasing goods? Can that not have an effect on inflation in the country as well?
That is why the government is a regulator.
Mm.
So I bet the government is a regulator to ensure that, look, every demand in its form broadly is either demand or supply pull inflation.
Mm-hmm.
It is either demand pull or supply pull. However, when you begin to witness an occasion of demand pull inflation, you must trigger what you call state interventionism.
Okay.
State interventionism. So Ghana can drive what you call control inflation. If the government doesn't want to witness more money chasing fewer goods, the government can trigger the button of what we refer to as hedging or control inflation. In that situation, government put in place mechanism to ensure that prices don't go too low, prices don't go too high. And in that situation, the government can have efficiency in planning, the business environment can have efficiency in planning, and individual, household, and firm can also have a respite. So to avoid that situation, we can trigger what we call hedging or control inflation, whereby the government of Ghana can put in place mechanism to ensure that at any given material moment, there is an equilibrium. You don't go too low, you don't go too high, you stay in between in the equilibrium system.
Wonderful. All right. So just as a matter of closing off, if you had a crystal ball that you can look into and project how the economy of Ghana is going to be, say by end of year, what would be your prediction as to how the economy is going to turn out, getting to the end of the year and early next year?
Can you come again? Your line was breaking.
If you could predict the how the economy of Ghana is going to be getting to the end of the year or close to or early next year, what would be your prediction as to how the economy is going to turn out?
Albert Straits, every economy is hinged on two things.
Okay.
The fiscal policy controlled by the finance minister and the monetary policy controlled by the governor of the Bank of Ghana. So going forward, there should be a close working relationship between the governor of the Bank of Ghana and the finance minister. Once we have a cordial, a synergy, a good relationship between the governor, who is controlling the monetary policy, and by monetary policy, we are looking at ensuring there's no too much money in circulation, not too limited money in circulation, ensuring that the policy rate is kept in check, ensuring that the interest rate on loans, the lending rate is kept in check. And at the same time, the finance minister also ensure that we're able to rake in more revenue. We're able to ensure that we plug in the loophole on people evading, avoiding taxes. I can tell you that the economy is going to look too good. Trust me. Look, Ghana to say on. Ghana will be sweet. Ghanaians should not be in disarray. And let me say this to every NDC member. And I'm saying so because we should not be too worried about appointment and opportunities. Let us pray that the economy thrives. We have positive indicators on the macro. And when these things happen, don't forget that in every political power, we have the political side and the business side. Let us all pray, support the government to succeed. Because when your government succeeds, though you may not have the net effect now, you can have it 4 years to come. Because if the NDC stays in power for the next 12 years, I can bet you the finance minister today may not be the finance minister 2029. The trade minister today may not be the trade minister 2029. So somebody who never got the opportunity to serve in the government in the next 4 years your time may also come. My singular request is that let us all pray, help the government to succeed. Because when the government succeeds and the NDC stays in power for a long time, more opportunity will abound, more contract to go to party people, more soft power opportunity will come to party people. Having said that,
what a way to end the show, Mr. Bernardo Techi. Thank you very much for making it to the studio today and for partaking in today's discussion. We are very grateful for your time, and we are thankful for the submission that you have given. And we pray that the NDC party members, as well as the government, would pay heed to the many pieces of advice that you dropped during the show. And as you said, once the economy does well, everybody's going to be happy. And Ghana bear the ampa. Thank you very much.
I bet simple. Obia Boga Begba, but at the right time. Everybody in Boga will come. Just a matter of time.
Thank you.
I saw on your show that many of the people were calling for my future ambition. Well, I may disappoint some of them.
Don't send people to bed on the wrong side. Give them hope.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us. And we know that once we call on you, you'd always show up and you'd always give us a great show. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
You're most welcome.
And to our viewers and listeners who joined us all over Ghana, from our listeners on Sakina Information Center in Tatali, to those on High FM 93.7 in Achimai, and to those on the King's Radio, to those on Jaframa and Adilema, and all those who joined us on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, and on all other platforms. We say a very big thank you to you for joining us. And until next week, when we bring you another exciting topic with yet another fiery character, another fiery panelist who is going to help us understand the issues that we are going to be discussing, we say that stay blessed, stay safe. God bless you. God bless our motherland, Ghana. Good evening.
The country where I come from, the truth is irony. Just like animal farm, justice means inequity.